Okay, in this video we're going to be talking about how do we do the subtraction algorithm, okay? Which is, again, is just a fancy way to say how do I do subtraction if I write it out on paper, okay? I'm not doing this strictly in my head, I'm writing it out on paper. How do I approach that? So we're going to go through a couple problems and just kind of step up the complexity a little bit as we go, and we run into more and more wrinkles, okay? But we're going to take it slow and we make sure we really understand what's going on. So let's start with the problem 35 minus 4, okay? Just like with the addition algorithm, with subtraction, we want to align them vertically, make sure the place values line up. So I'll just take this 4 and I'll put it right here. Okay, now we start again in the ones place. We would say 5 minus 4 gives me 1. And then 3 minus nothing, right? There's nothing in the tens place here. Still just leaves me with 3. So 35 minus 4 is 31. Now, this is probably a problem that we would really just think about in our heads. But if we were to do the standard algorithms, write it out on paper, this is how we would do it. How would this problem change if instead it was 35 minus 14? Okay? It wouldn't change too much. I mean, obviously the answer would be different, but the process is exactly the same. So 5 minus 4 is 1, and 3 minus 1 is 2. Okay? 35 minus 14 gives me 21. So up until now, seems fairly straightforward. Now there's one major problem that we will get into, which is, what if I don't have enough to take away in the ones place? So what if instead of 35 minus 14, what if it was 32 minus 14, right? What do I do now? Well, first let's just name the problem. I can't do 2 minus 4, right? If you go to the store and you have $4 worth of stuff and you only have $2 in your pocket, you don't have enough to buy it, right? The storekeeper can't take away $4 from you if you only got 2. So we have to fix this problem, okay? And the way we're going to do that is we're going to decompose or break apart this 32, right? Right now, because we're dealing with place value, right, we're sort of just breaking this into a 30 and into a 2. But that's not working for us. The 2 here is not enough. So how else could I break apart the 32? Well, I could break it apart however I want. And what we're going to do is instead of breaking it into a 30 and a 2, okay, we're going to take 10 away from this 30. Let's make that a 20, and I'm going to bring the 10 over here, combine it with the 2, and now it's a 12, okay? So instead of breaking it apart into a 30 and a 2, we want to break it into a 20 and a 12. Okay, this is what we call borrowing, right? The way it looks, right? Again, this is what's actually happening to the numbers. But the way that it looks on the paper when we do it, we say, okay, I can't do 2 minus 4, so I'm going to cross off the 3 and make it a 2. The 30 just became a 20. Okay, and then here we have 2 choices. I could either put the 1 right here in front of the 2, so I see it's a 12, but if that's not clear enough, you can also cross off the 2 and just write 12 up here. Okay, now we return back, well, we fix the problem. 12 minus 4, I can do it. That's 8. And then 2 minus 1 is 1, right? Again, I'm always going to come back to this idea of place value so we understand what we're doing. I say 2 minus 1, but it's really 20 minus 10 gives me 10, right? This 18 is a 10 and an 8. Okay, awesome. We're going to look at a couple more examples. Okay, so let's just look at one more example where we're doing some borrowing. And again, I'm going to kind of explain it as thoroughly as I can, what is actually happening, to really just reinforce our understanding. And then we'll look at one last situation, we call borrowing across a 0, which is what trips people up most often. Okay, so we have 143 minus 76. So we start in the ones place, but I immediately run into a problem. 3 minus 6, I can't do it, okay? How are we breaking apart 143 if we break it apart by place value into 100, a 40, and a 3? Now I need more here. 3's not enough. Where can I get it from? From the 40, right? Make it a 30. Make this a 3, and now this becomes 13, okay? Because I took that 10 away, goes right here. What does that look like? Cross off the 4, make it a 3, and this becomes a 13. Okay, now 13 minus 6 gives me 7. Move over to the tens place. 3 minus 7, again, same problem, right? Same problem. So, where could I get more? I could get more only from the 100. So, I'm going to take this whole 100 and combine it here. So now 130, which would look like a 13 in the tens place. Why? This is 13 tens, which adds up to 130. Okay? So we cross this off, it becomes a 0, and now we have 13 minus 7 is 6. Okay, so the last problem that we're going to look at is an example of what we call borrowing across a 0. So let's go with 200 minus 86. Okay, so where are we going to start? In the ones place. But again, I see I have a problem. 0 minus 6, I can't do that. I need to get more here in the ones place. Do you see what the other issue is though? Take a second and look. Right? I have another 0 here in the tens place. There's nothing that I can even borrow from. I can't take anything away from 0. So before I can even fix this problem, I need to fix this problem, right? That there's nothing here. So where could I borrow some from? Well, from the 2, in the hundreds place, from the 200. Let's cross it off and make it a 1. And now what do you think this 0 becomes? It becomes a 10. Okay? Now, why is that? Well, I just took 100 away from this. Right? We had 200. I'm going to take 100 away. Right? I leave 100 here, and then I take 100 away, and I break that 100 into 10 tens. Right? 10 plus 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 10. Right? We have 10 tens now. Okay? So let's go back to the ones place. Can I do 0 minus 6? No. But now I have something I can borrow from. I have 10 tens here. How many of these tens do I need to fix this problem? Only one of them. Right? So now instead of 10 tens, I have 9 tens. And this 10 that I just took away goes right here. So now this is a 10. Okay? And now we're good to go. 10 minus 6 is 4. 9 minus 8 is 1. And 1 minus nothing is 1. Okay? There we go. That is how we borrow across a 0. Thank you again for watching the video, and I'll catch you on the next one.